Now, I'm really looking forward to this. We're honored to have with us today a true leader in the fight against anti-Semitism on college campuses, Valeria Chazin, the founder of SSI, which is Students Supporting Israel. Now, in recent years, we've seen a disturbing rise in anti-Semitism, anti-Israel rhetoric, and even threats against Jewish students in universities across the United States and around the world. In fact, right here in New York, just a couple of miles away, we had the issue at Barnard College the last 2 weeks. While these challenges are growing, so is the resistance, the activism, and the courage of students who refuse to be silenced. That's where SSI comes in. Under Valeria's leadership, SSI has become a powerful grassroots movement, empowering students to stand proudly for Israel, counter misinformation, and create a strong pro-Israel presence on campus. SSI often works together on campus with other groups in the ZOA Coalition, including ZOA Campus, my friends Dave and Ben at End Jew Hatred, Lawfare Project, and others. With that, let's welcome in Valeria. Valeria, Sid Rosenberg here in New York. How are you?
Well, thank you for the introduction.
You're welcome. You deserve it. Now, look, as I talked about, we've seen a shocking rise in anti-Semitism on campuses right here in New York, Barnard College, Columbia, NYU. I know this morning the team that just won the football championship, Ohio State, they had an issue too, California being buried, places like UCLA and USC. And these protests, okay, they're not protests. These are terrorists. These are not protesters. They want outright violence. Can you tell us, Valeria, about the current situation and how it's affecting Jewish students across the nation?
Honestly, I think that I do not probably need to tell this group here, the viewers, about the situation that Zionist and Jewish students are facing on college campuses, because I think many people know that and have been following that. But what I will say is that while you hear many times about the negatives and all the encampments and these news, less highlighted are the positives and, the wins that the Jewish students are having on campus. And for example, in SSI, we're active on 150 universities. And from day one, our mission has been to be a clear and confident pro-Israel voice on college campuses and to support students in grassroots activism. And that means that we believe in boots on the ground to have a visible, proactive pro-Israel message. And you mentioned Columbia University, that is one of our strongest chapters, for example, who led one of the biggest rallies for Israel in New York City on campus, right outside of the encampment. And, Prime Minister Begin once said that I am not the Jew with trembling knees. And this is definitely the spirit of SSI activists across the country. And I also believe that this is the spirit that many people here on Slate number 15 are sharing when it comes to campuses and what needs to be done.
Valeria, at Columbia last year at one point, there was a rabbi who told the Jewish students, it was during Pesach, I don't know if you know this, but I held the very first press conference outside Columbia University. I did it. Me and Bruce Blakeman came, he's a Nassau County executive, and Anthony D'Esposito and Mike Lawler out of Rockland County, and my friend, the comedic actor Mike Rappaport. And the rabbi said to the kids, you know what, maybe you should go home. And I was furious, because what I want to see from our Jewish allies, I want to fight back. The ADL is not what it was when I was a kid. The JDL is not what it was. I'll punch somebody across the face. I'm not encouraging violence. But don't go home. Stay and fight, yes?
I would agree 100%. I think right now in Israel, we have IDF soldiers who are the same age as the students on college campuses. They're fighting on the ground in all the different fronts in Israel, including my relatives who are fighting, my younger cousin who's right there, in the army and has not seen his parents for a while because he's right there. And so what I say is that a lot of the students, we in the United States, we definitely need not be shy to take the flag at least and go out to the streets to proudly show our presence and our support for Israel. And I think here in SSI, for example, we definitely empower our members to be not just the activists, but also the organizers, because we want to lead our peers, to create these rallies, to go out there, to speak up, to be very proactive and not just responsive to the problems. You're absolutely right.
I got to tell you, terrific. Have people told you that before?
Thank you so much. And
No, you're not leaving me yet. You're not leaving me yet, because I do want to ask you, I just wanted to tell you how great you are. But I do want to ask you that moving forward, with so many universities still an issue, we had President Trump come out and say that the federal government will start to defund some of these universities, which I think is great, although he should have done it already with Barnard and Columbia. We've got my friend Elise Stefanik, the UN ambassador to Israel. She did a tremendous job, as you know, Valeria, when she just throttled all these university presidents, Harvard, Pennsylvania, MTA, Northwestern, on Capitol Hill just last year. So we got the people in charge who are ready to really hurt these universities financially. And sometimes, as you know, Valeria, that's even better than a punch across the face.
Yes, financials matter a lot, and I think it's very important that that attention has been given to the leadership of universities, because everybody over last year and over the encampments that happened, we're basically looking for the responsible adults, right? Because we want the university leaderships to live up to their responsibilities to protect Jewish students. And so I want to actually mention something that, over the past 5 years since the last elections, we achieved many results working with the World Zionist Organization. And one of them has been a resolution that we passed. Actually, I drafted it together with Liz Barney, who spoke here right before, to say that we urge university leadership to stand up for the rights of Jewish students on campus. And that was just one achievement together with many others. And I'll give you an example, like securing funds from the WZO for activism on the ground, or like creating many events with probably hundreds of participants. And one of them that was very special that I remember is, for example, a meeting between delegations of Israeli mayors and students on campuses, where they both shared some challenges, and that was in the presence of Yaakov Hagoel, the chairman of the World Zionist Organization. And so all these things happened because of our presence last time. So definitely, I think if the people watching this want to continue this work and want to see us keeping delivering and representing our values, I would encourage everyone to come out and vote.
Well, finally, in the last 60 seconds, and you're right, come out and vote. It all begins midnight Sunday into Monday morning. We need your votes. We want your votes. And trust me, if you love Valeria, you love Sid, you love Israel, you're going to want to vote for us. How can the audience watching right now help support SSI's mission? Because I got to tell you, I really believe right now, the issue that you work on every day is the biggest one we're facing here in the United States.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the support would be, first of all, to encourage more of the type of work that we do. I mean, definitely everybody who's watching, who's also voting for the ZOA Coalition, can look and see where is one of these 150 SSI chapters across the country and come and join the events on campuses. Because, in fact, the students, they're fighters on the ground on these academic institutions, but a lot of community involvement also matters. And we have a few examples, I can actually talk about this for hours, but a few examples where the students were facing problems, but we did need to mobilize the community to email and to call these universities to make sure things are moving and not just being forgotten in terms of problems that were happening on the ground. So definitely there are ways to support SSI, and we're working. I'll also give you one more example, is that for now we're working on a few instances with ZOA's legal department when we have a problem, to also solve some issues whenever they come up on campus. So, thank you. Campuses have been definitely the focus over the last year and a half, and actually way before that. But I think now suddenly everybody are paying attention to this. So we want to make sure not just us paying attention to this, but also the national institutions will be paying attention to this and devoting the fundings to help these students be proud Zionists on the ground.
Your work is very inspiring and very, very important. I can't thank you enough. And ZOA, we're very lucky that you're on our team. We got a great team. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. We can't wait to hear more. Let's dive in. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good to have you. All right, that's important stuff, folks. Right there, SSI, making sure. When I was a kid, I said, Mom, Dad, I want my kid to go to Harvard. I want my kid to go nowhere near Harvard right now. Princeton, Harvard, forget about it. We need to get back to the time when going to schools like Harvard was not just a huge deal academically, but was safe for Jewish students. That's not the case